Hey, we're back with another one of our misconceptions about God as we're cruising through this book, Deity, formerly known as God. This week, our misconception has to do with buffets. All-you-can-eat buffets, to be specific. Now, I used to love going to all-you-can-eat buffets. I don't know what ones you've ever been to. We got Hometown Buffet. There used to be OCB. I heard they got bought out. Now we got Ryan's coming to the city. In your town, I don't know what you have as a buffet there. Personally, I don't go there anymore because I've gotten food poisoning from them too many times. But I'll tell you one thing. There is a buffet that I love to go to, and that is a Super China buffet. In my hometown, they have this buffet, this Chinese buffet, where you've got the crab legs, the typical Chinese stuff, and then on top of it, you got all-you-can-eat sushi, all-you-can-eat ice cream, and all-you-can-eat Mongolian barbecue. You get me near a Chinese buffet, and I will eat out. I will eat my worth in money. But here's the deal. When you go to a buffet, what's the best part about a buffet? The choices. Think about it. You can have whatever you want. If you go to like Hometown Buffet or whatever buffet is in your town, you can get, beef, you can get chicken, you can get ham, you can get macaroni and cheese, salad, pizza, mashed potatoes, you name it. They've probably got it there. But here's the deal. Buffets, although they give us a lot of choices, they begin to foster this feeling in us that we have the power. We have the control. We can pick and choose what we want. And that's what makes us so happy in going to a buffet. Hey, I want to read you a couple rules that I've learned from a buffet. And, just to kind of get us thinking about these phases. First of all, when you go to a buffet, don't ever eat anything that has the word surprise in it. Second of all, anything that's a pot pie or a shepherd's pie, or basically a pie that is made up of food that's not like a dessert, I'd stay away from it. Simply because, here's the deal. Yesterday's chicken is not today's chicken pot pie. Yesterday's peas, yeah, they're in it too. Have you ever heard of a tuna enchilada? Anything that's fish and Mexican together, except for fish tacos, you got to run from that stuff. And my personal favorite, anything that looks like, smells like, has the texture of tapioca. That stuff, when it sits out, it just gets nasty and I can't think about it. Here's where we're going today, though. Thinking about God this way, we got to realize that sometimes we treat God like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Think about it. We take the things like, I love the forgiveness that God has, and I like His principles that He shares. And, when He works miracles in people's lives, that's really cool. But, loving my neighbors all the time, I'm not really a big fan of that. And, going through tough stuff, yeah, seriously, I don't want to deal with that. I don't like that part about God. And this stuff about, being nice to my mom and dad, why would I think about that? That's not something I want to do today. Or God's calling me to, quit what I'm doing and go serve somewhere else. That's not the part of God I want to watch. But you know what? I do want to make sure I take the portion of God that I like the most, that dessert, that, eternal life. I want that, but I don't want everything else that goes with that. You see how we treat God like an all-you-can-eat buffet? We come up to the buffet of God and we go, I like chicken, but I don't want the beef. I like macaroni and cheese, but don't make me eat the peas. Don't let me eat those soggy peas and carrots. Those aren't good. As I think about this, as I think about God, I realize He's more like a fine meal than a buffet. Think about it this way. I don't know if you've ever been to a multiple course meal, but here's the deal about the multiple course meals when you go to one. If you ever get a chance to go to them, eat everything and eat it in order. I know personally when I've been to a multiple course meal, there's been times that I'm like, I'm not really a big fan of this appetizer. But if I hadn't eaten the appetizer, it wouldn't have led into the next course the way it is. Think about it this way. You go to a seafood place and your first thing is Parmesan encrusted chicken and shrimp. And you're like, oh, this is phenomenal. I love it. But then they say, okay, now you got to have the next course is mussels. And you're like, I don't like that. Well, the person next to you says, try it. Just take a taste of it. Get that taste in your mouth because it's going to lead to something even greater to come. That's God. You see, if we treat God like a buffet, we don't get the whole picture of God. We don't get the whole that God is. But if we treat Him like a fine meal, and we take each course as it comes, we are going to get a full taste, a full understanding of who God is. Yeah, it's going to stink at time. Yeah, it's going to be tough at time. Yeah, you're going to get a course you're like, I really don't want to eat this. But I guarantee, as you go through those courses, God will reveal his awesome and mighty power and who he is to you. Hey, I want to read this quote from the book, Deity Formerly Known as God, that really kind of puts everything in perspective here as we go along. It says this, it says, real faith comes from releasing our control, releasing our ability to choose what we want about God, instead of fabricating God from our favorite parts. You see, God is inseparably whole. He cannot be divided and portioned out into the parts we find most palatable. He is who he is, all of who he is, and he is inviting you to be the same. All of who you are, following all of who God is. The table has been set. The meal has been lovingly prepared. And the simple question is this: will you join us? Will you join God and dine from the fullness of his table? Or will you scavenge and rummage around the buffet, picking and choosing, holding on to your control, your ability to do what you want to do and choose the things about God that you want to follow? Choosing the parts of spirituality that you like from Buddhism and Taoism and Mormonism and everything, and bringing it together and saying, I'm going to have control of who God is. Or are you going to let go? It's not easy. We live in a world that is all about control. We want to control everything. I know personally when I go on a plane, I hate it because I don't have control. But if there's one thing I've learned in my life so far, and I've got a lot more to learn, is that I can't control God. I have to submit to him. He is in control. And when he is in control, although some things happen that don't make sense, some things happen where we're confused, when he's in control, amazing things happen. And amazing things are yet to happen in my life and in your life. Hey, it's time to go to your small groups right now. I pray that those are some great talk times. I hope that you enjoy each other's company. Spend some time sharing about your week. Spend some time maybe about how you've picked and choosed over God. And also spend some time, kind of planning, how can we do some fun stuff this week? Or how can we do some serving as a small group? And talk about that and begin to figure out where God is calling you as a small group. Hey, we'll see you next week. Have a blessed week. We got one more week to go, one more misunderstanding of God. And then we begin a new series. So we'll see you soon. Bye.